Shalom Aleichem and Baruchim Abaim. Moshe Lagnado here speaking under the auspices of Kollel, Baruch, Ahavat Yisrael in Southern California, and Tziyon in Brooklyn, New York. My friends, this week we read Parshat Va'era. Here Moses comes to redeem the Jewish people, Bnei Yisrael, from the land of Egypt. And God has given him powers to stand in front of Pharaoh. And here we will read about 7 of the plagues that Moses brings upon the land of Egypt. He starts off with blood. The river, their national power, which irrigates their whole country, turns to blood. And comes Pharaoh, says, big deal. My wise men could do the same thing. And his wise men take the remaining water, which is in Egypt, and turn it into blood. And I, as a child, was bewildered. How is it that Pharaoh and his wise men turned the remaining water into blood? If they were so smart, turn the blood back into water. And I asked this question to one of my teachers. And I did not understand the answer immediately. But now I certainly do. That when a person is filled with hate and filled with anger, he doesn't do things which are very understandable. He does things which are destructive, self-destructive. Pharaoh's men and Pharaoh himself was filled with hate for that nation called the Hebrews, that they would do things which were very foolish. And therefore, they turned the water into blood rather than try to save that water. And certainly they couldn't change the blood back into water. The second plague also details a very strange occurrence. The pasuk says, the verse says, Vatal Sephardea, and a frog came up from the river. One frog? Weren't all the houses of Egypt filled with these amphibious creatures? It's not one frog. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions. Why does the pasuk say one? And our sages tell us a beautiful, beautiful lesson. Yes, one large frog came out of the river, very large. And the people, the Egyptians, Pharaoh and his men were disturbed. And they started attacking it and hitting it. And the more they hit it, the more frogs came out of it. And they saw, and they continued, rather than stop and say, we're making the situation worse. But anger, hate brings about self-destructive acts. When a person's angry, he will do things which are self-destructive, which will destroy him and all that he has. Because anger works against logic. We're angry and we just cannot control ourselves. And it's not only anger, my friends, it's also hatred. When one hates another, his logic has gone, it disappears. He does things which are what? Which are so horrid, not only to himself, but to others. It reminds me of a story which we should all know. And two friends, really, they hated each other with a passion. The king calls one in and says, "My loyal subject, I love you, and I want to do anything you want. I will give you anything. I will do anything for you and for your family. But I'm telling you, not only for you, but I will do double to your friend. To my friend, the one I hate? Yes, that one." Told the king, "Please, let me think about it overnight." And overnight, he thought about it. Came back to the king the next morning after analyzing the situation. He said, "King, I have decided what I want you to do to me." The king said, "Certainly. What would you want me to do for you?" He says, "Please take out one of my eyes." And the king was shocked. And the subject said, "Does that not mean that you will take out my friend's two eyes?" My friends, when hatred and anger fills our hearts, we not only hurt everybody around us, but we hurt ourselves even more. Let us learn how to keep anger away from our hearts, how to keep hatred away from our souls and minds. And may we join together, all Yisrael, in love, with patience, and then certainly God will send us His Redeemer, Mashiach Hashem, very soon. Shabbat Shalom.